All right, Okoye has entered the contest. Let's discuss. Now, Okoye comes into the contest with combo meter gain, critical hits, precision, and 2 points in dexterity built into her kit. So, yeah, she's kind of like that. But what is her combo like? Well, I gotta admit, when I was playing her, her combo was a little clunky. She's a really clunky champion to play, and trying to do a 5-hit combo and then throw your special can definitely be a little bit off-putting and may take some time to get used to. But other than that, as you can see here, stacking those bleeds and those shocks was actually really nice. And you get that ensnare, which we're going to discuss later when you dex the opponent's attacks. So yeah, I thought overall she was actually kind of fun to play once you got used to her clunky play style. It can throw a couple people off when, you know, trying to combo into a special, and that may take some time to get used to. But let's discuss her strengths. What are her strengths? Well, one of her strengths, she has increased combo meter gain, and she has combo protection. She gains a lot of hits into her combo, and it can be really beneficial against certain champions in the combo where you got to do certain things. And she applies a lot of debuffs on the opponent. A lot, especially like it's so easy to apply shocks and bleed. All you got to do is regular combo. There's no trick to it at all. And she also has access to vital utilities such as ensnare. Like if you dex the opponent's attacks, you put an ensnare and you're going to be able to easily counter those pesky, annoying evade champs. So yeah, her utility, easy to access. But unfortunately, she does have some weaknesses. One of her weaknesses, she's very reliant on her debuffs. If the champion is immune to bleed and shocks, then she's gonna hit like a wet noodle. And if they shake off debuffs like Kingpin here or Agent Venom, again, she's not gonna hit that hard because she's really reliant on her debuffs to do her damage. Other than that, she doesn't really hit hard at all, in my opinion. And her clunky playstyle, I consider that a weakness because it's going to take some time to get used to, and there may be occasions like right here where I thought I had the opening and the AI blocked and I did a special into the block and now I'm taking a 5-hit combo. So keep that in mind. What immunities does she have? She doesn't have any immunities, unfortunately. I'm sorry. She doesn't have any immunities. None whatsoever. What is she like awakened? Now, I think she does benefit from her awakened ability. I'm always reading her awakened ability to you. She's a top tier ornament, grants 3 ranks on the Deep Wounds Mastery, which is enhanced to include shock debuffs and instant shock. So I would definitely use an awakening gem on her. Her other part of her awakened ability is when Okoye's health is lower than her opponent's, all endurance and precision buffs on her expire 5 to 40% slower. So I do think she needs to be awakened. But the great thing is she doesn't need high sig. Like I wouldn't put any sigs into her at all. I think she's fine at sig 1. Her prestige is 27,670, so she actually has pretty decent prestige. But yeah, overall at sig 1, she's fine. She's going to do that damage regardless. What is he like on defense? Defensively, I think she's going to be easy. Like she doesn't have any immunity, so champions like Archangel are just going to melt her. And her special attacks can be outranged. Like you don't even need to take block damage from them. All you got to do is back up far enough and you will not be taking any block damage from her at all. So defensively, I think she's kind of a weak defender. But again, like if she does catch you with that special, when you don't have a champion with a double immunity like shock or bleed, then she's going to do crazy damage. And you see it in this next fight right here. Like if you don't outrange her special attacks, like I dashed in right there, look at all the damage she's doing to me. She's going to melt a lot of champions really quick in Battleground. So be careful when playing her on defense. Now her stat focus. The stat focus I would definitely recommend would be offensively attack rating, because you know her critical is already high and her high damage output is tied to inflicting damaging debuffs. And defensively is critical rating. So keep that in mind. The relic I would recommend would definitely be the Black Panther relic, because of her heavy and especially that can make use of her bonuses as guaranteed critical hits. So those are the relics then stat focus I would attach to her, which as you can see right here benefits her really well. All that damage is just insane. What masteries would I think she would be good for? Obviously dexterity, since you can place the ensnare on the opponent. Deep wounds, because you know she does inflict a lot of bleed on the opponent, and it can also benefit the shocks as well. And despair, because with 3 or more debuffs you can stop and maybe even reverse some healing on your opponent when you're using with all the debuffs you put on her or you put on the opponent defensively. Now, my overall thoughts on Okoye, I think she's a great champion. She has great utility. It's really easy to apply debuffs. She doesn't really need a ramp, and she's fine at low sig. And I feel like that's absolutely great for her. The cons is her playstyle is a little bit clunky. Her combo is just really clunky in my opinion. I think she's going to be a weak defender in Battlegrounds. She's also debuff reliant to really do her damage, and she kind of needs to be awakened to really take advantage of those points in deep wounds. So keep that in mind. But other than that, I feel like her pros definitely outweigh her cons. Offensively in Battlegrounds, I think she's going to end a lot of fights quickly, because if a champion is, let's say a champion is immune to shock and not immune to bleed, she's going to just stack more and more bleeds, and vice versa. If they're immune to bleed but not immune to shock, she's going to just stack multiple damaging over time shock debuffs on the opponent, which is great because there are a lot of champions that may be immune to shock or maybe immune to bleed, but there aren't many champions that are immune to shock and bleed. There are a few, but there aren't a lot. Two off the top of my mind, I think of Silver Centurion and Nebula. Other than that, there aren't many champions who are immune to shock and bleed. Leave a comment below if you can think of one that I haven't thought of. But overall, I think she's a phenomenal champion, and I think she definitely is going to be in a lot of people's decks because she's an offensive nuke for Battlegrounds and War, and I think she will also clear content for a lot of people because she's just really easy to play. She's extremely easy to play. You just pick her up and go. You just gotta get used to that clunky playstyle. But once you get used to that and you get a rotation and you're able to throw your specials consistently at the opponent without having to worry if they're blocking or going to block it, I think she's going to be absolutely fine. Because there are a couple of champions in the contest who have a clunky playstyle, i.e. Spiral and Quicksilver and so on and so forth. But overall, I think Kabam did a good job. I think this is a solid champion. I think she's going to be very useful in Battlegrounds and other content as well. But let me know your thoughts below in the comment section. So if you did like this video, please hit that like button. And for anyone new here, if you can hit that sub button, I'd really appreciate it. Y'all take care. Have a great and wonderful day.